the dating stages. Hey, Jose, thanks for joining. Hi, Tani. So, let's start by saying this. We as women, we know we're complicated. Hey, Danielle, we know we're complicated. It takes a lot to figure us out. We can't figure ourselves out half the time. Okay. So, hey, Bombshell Cosmetics, good morning. So, we'll just say, that aside, there are a few things that, as someone interested in dating a woman of high standard, a woman who has values, a woman who is looking to do good things and has certain expectations, there are things you need to know. And we're just going to touch on 3 of those today. Hey, Reynold. All right. Does that sound good? So the first thing, you guys ready? Hey, King 305. The first thing is we want your honesty. All right. And it sounds really simple. It sounds like, oh, well, duh, of course we want your honesty. But no, truly, when we ask you a question, we're asking because we want to know the truth. We're not asking because we want you to tell us something that you think you want us to hear. We want to know the truth. When I'm asking you okay, well, let's keep it to the dating realm, right? Not necessarily relationship yet, but we'll keep it to dating. If I'm asking you, when was your last relationship? And your last relationship is still kind of on the mend, and you guys are still sort of just kind of talking, but not, not really in a relationship. Don't tell the person that you're interested in that it was years ago and you haven't dated anybody and, you don't know how long, you can't remember the last person that you dated. Don't do that. Be honest, because you know what? When your phone starts beeping and it's that flame, you're going to have some questions to answer. So just make sure that you're being honest. And when it comes down to it, when you decide that this person that you're dating is somebody that, you could potentially see yourself popping the question to, you want to make sure that you've laid a good foundation. I loathe the liar. Yeah, so many of us do. But you want to make sure that you're laying a good, solid foundation, guys. I mean, because us women, chances are a lot of you that are here today, a lot of you men that are here today have been caught up in a lie in a relationship once or twice, right? Hey, don't be afraid, or don't die afraid. Hey, right? You've been caught in a lie once or twice, and you're sitting here trying to figure out, A, why'd you lie to begin with? And B, hey, good morning. And B, why are you now sitting here having to defend yourself? Why didn't you just tell the truth to begin with? So when you're dating, I don't think it's necessary to, tell your whole life story. No, I don't think that's necessary. And for someone to ask, I mean, okay, they can ask, but I don't see anything wrong with your response being, oh, that's a conversation for another time. There's nothing wrong with that. Hey, just be honest. So just be honest. No lies. I mean, and what are you lying for anyway? You know what I mean? Are you a serial killer? Are you, what are you lying about anyway? If you're honest, everyone has a past. Everyone makes mistakes. And the person that you're dating, if they're mature, they'll realize, you have a past just like they do. You've made mistakes. You've done things that you shouldn't have done probably. And so when you're honest, it makes things easier. It makes conversation easier. Your level of communication changes. And you're more willing to be open to that kind of a, dialogue and discussion. And it's easier. It's faster to get to, finding out whether or not you like this person for real, right? So the other thing is, guys, women who have a certain standard, Christian women who are trying to, remain abstinent or whatever the situation is, they don't want to have sex before marriage, or they want to stop having sex before marriage, or whatever. You guys, you have to relax. You cannot pressure her. You cannot make her feel like if she doesn't, give in, then somebody else will. You can't do that to her. If she's someone that you think there's potential to live with, be married to down the road, then you have to give her space. Give the person a chance to decide if they want to deal with that. You have to give her space. You have to let her know, clearly, I'm interested in you. I'm attracted to you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be dating, because you have to have that attraction. But don't make it this uncomfortable situation for her. You know, you want to, like, when you're dating, don't tell her, why don't you come over for Netflix and we'll order in. No, don't do that. That makes it uncomfortable. Chances are she's just as attracted to you as you are to her. But when you put her in this position where it's dark and you're trying to slip your arm around her, it's like, you guys, come on. It makes things so uncomfortable. And then it forces her to have to say stop. It forces her to have to put her foot down. And then she's feeling like now you don't like her and yada, yada, yada. If you truly respect the girl that you're dating, if you think that she's wifey material, you can marry her at some point, then you need to respect the boundaries. And the only way to show that is to not pressure her. Don't put her in an awkward situation. When conversations come up about sex, you know, don't ask her, well, how many people have you been with? You know what I mean? Like, it's not comfortable. Especially when you're early in those dating stages, it's just not. And when you pressure someone, you're forcing them, essentially. You're forcing them to react in a defensive way, in a way that they probably wouldn't ordinarily act if they're not being pressured. You know, so guys, don't pressure the girl that you're interested in into sexual, you know, relationships or, you know, anything along that line. If she's someone that you're interested in and she's interested in you, then the attraction will be there. Just because you have you know, sexual feelings towards someone doesn't mean you need to act on them all the time. You know, there are certain ways that you can show her you're attracted to her without doing all the extra, without having her come over and, you know, candlelight and all that kind of stuff. Don't do that. It makes it hard. It makes it really hard. And not only that, if you do this on a consistent basis, she's going to begin to think that that's all you want. She's going to begin to think, okay, so you don't want to do anything else? You don't want to go to the movies, like get in the car and go to the movies? You know, she's going to start thinking some things about you that may not be accurate. So you don't want her to start drawing her own conclusions and thinking that you're only interested in one thing, if that's not the case, you know. And one other thing is just that I am a strong believer that a lot of guys know up front when they meet someone whether or not they would even consider them in a wifey capacity, you know. And it's almost like, you know, when the first impression, how they say the first impression, people make this huge assessment about you based on their first impression. Well, same is true for men in dating, I believe. I believe that men see what they see and they kind of know immediately whether it's somebody that they could see themselves with long term or not, or if there's, you know, they have some other ideas for the person. But a lot of that, ladies, a lot of that has to do with how we carry ourselves. So, you know, what we present is a reflection of who we are. That's why I said in previous scopes that you want to be careful of the company that you keep. Netflix, it's a trap. It's a trap. Tiny. Yeah, so make sure that the company that you keep is company that you are comfortable with someone else associating you with. You know what I mean? You want to make sure that you're not hanging out at the bar and, you know, hanging out at all these sketchy places and then have this expectation that some guy's going to come in and take you seriously. Like you're, you know, you want to put yourself in a position that is a reflection of who you are. If you're truly someone that says you have high values and that you're, you know, you don't settle and you have expectations and you only want a man that's going to meet you at a certain level, then you need to act that way. Because when he sees you, when he meets you, he's making an assessment. He's deciding from jump whether you are someone that he even wants to spend a second getting to know, beyond surface. You know what I mean? So we want to, as women, we need to make sure that we are carrying ourselves in a way, presenting ourselves in a way that is consistent with what we say. All right. So again, I feel like men, they make these decisions sort of on the snap when they meet you, whether they want to pursue things or not. And they go off of there, from that point on. They take it from that point. So it's our job as women to make sure that we're putting out the right signal, the right message. So like I said, guys, relax. Everything doesn't have to be about sex. Everything doesn't have to be about relations. Just give her some space. Let her know you're interested, obviously. And that's key too, because you don't want to just be completely standoffish. You don't want to, give her the grandma hug. You know what I mean? There are ways to be affectionate that aren't slobbing her down and trying to lay her out. Just, you can give her a nice warm. Some of the best things in life are those big, tight hugs, kisses on the forehead. Guys, kisses on the forehead are golden. Golden. Ladies, kisses on the forehead are golden, guys, because they're just like, they're like, oh. That's what they are. There's no words. So, and that's a way of showing the girl that you're interested in that some affection without being overboard about it. You know what I mean? Without being all nasty and just like all grabby. We don't want that. Okay. It's pressure and we don't want to do that. So the last thing that I wanted to hit on just really quick is we want you as men to be serious. Now, I don't mean serious like you can't have a conversation, you can't laugh and joke. That's not what I mean. Serious in terms of where you're going. You don't have to have everything planned out, but you need to have some type of legitimate ambition, a realistic plan in place, something for us to say, okay, well, if I'm with him for another 5 years, if we pursue this, then I could potentially be his, CFO, or, you know what I mean? We need to know that you have something going on in there. We need to know that you have a plan. A lot of friends, well, I'll get to that in a minute, but we need to know that you have a plan. We need to know that if we get with you, if we get married to you, that we're not going to be sitting on the side of the road somewhere in a couple years trying to figure out what happened to our lives. We need to know that you're going to take care of us. And we see that in how you treat the women in your life. So specifically your mom, your sisters, people like that. If you're always talking bad about your mom, whether it's behind her back or to her face, in my opinion, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. It's a red flag. It's not a good look. So make sure that, if you are serious about the person that you're dating, that you let her in on some of those life goals that you have. Let her in on some of the things that you've done in the past leading up to reaching those goals. Stop watching Sex and the City and thinking you're going to catch a millionaire at the bar. Seriously, guys. Ladies. Anyway, yeah, Tani, yes, you're right. I mean, that's the whole Disney fantasy that the media feeds into us, that we're just going to, pull over the side of the road, just change our tire, and some, I don't know, knight in shining armor is going to pull up and help us and marry us, Guys, seriously though, we want you to be serious. We want to know you have a plan. We want to know that you have something, that you're working towards something. Now, I will say this. When you are in the dating zone, right? And you are, we'll say like 21 and under, there are certain goals that I'm not going to expect you to have if you were 10 years older, in your 30s. You know what I mean? So if you're dating in your 20s and things are just kind of light and easy, I'm not going to expect you as someone interested in me and me interested in you. I'm not expecting you to know what you want to do for the next 45 years of your life. I do, though, expect you to be in college or doing something that is furthering yourself personally. I do expect you to, if you don't have your own apartment, I do expect you to have some type of a plan, you guys. And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be this big amazing person. You just need to have some self to know that you need to have things in order. You need to have things